Star Wars Episode 8 The Last Jedi was released on December 15th, 2017. New York International Toy Fair is on February 17th, 2018. That left us with only 2 months to put this list together. That's a razor-thin window of time when you consider that I spent 48 minutes compiling all the data, 3 hours writing this script, and the rest of the time waiting to queue in to play Battlefront 2. Naboo! Ugh! Without this annual list show, Hasbro is essentially rudderless with respect to their future Star Wars planning. Finally, they'll be able to get back to work. Hi, I'm Dan Larson, and this is the 10 Most Wanted 6-inch Star Wars The Black Series action figures, Volume 3. This is Volume 3. When you're done watching this, be sure to take a look back at Volumes 1 and 2 to see the glory of our 75% success rate in action. If we could perform that well at any other aspect of our lives, we could afford a full staff of editors to produce our videos and an incredibly lifelike and very handsome robot to host. This is the glory of 20%. Number 10 is Cantina Aliens, specifically the Cantina Aliens in Episode 4 that were given totally rude names based specifically on what they look like, so parents could tell them apart when they were released as action figures back in 1978. Hammerhead, Snaggletooth, Walrus Man, names that would have gotten Luke Skywalker punched right in his ignorant face if he had actually addressed them as such. Luke almost got killed for stepping up to the bar and asking for a glass of blue milk. Imagine if he'd turned to Ponda Baba and said, "I'll be careful, Walrus Man." Whoa, 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 Luke, he was out of line, but that was uncalled for. Look around, we're all unique individuals here. Snaggletooth, Hammerhead, Batboy, Wolfman, Devil Horns, Giant Praying Mantis, Neil Armstrong. It's why we come here. It's our diversity that surrounds us, that penetrates us. It binds this whole cantina together, and you. I think you should go wait in the speeder with the droids. I don't think they serve your kind here either. Number 9 is Asajj Ventress. She was Count Dooku's assassin of choice during the Clone Wars. She was a regular foil of the Jedi, going toe-to-toe with Obi-Wan and Anakin on multiple occasions until the re-emergence of the Maul family and Palpatine's order that Dooku not only stop training her, but kill her. She's a former Jedi Padawan turned Sith apprentice turned assassin turned bounty hunter wielding dual lightsabers. She's a former Padawan turned Sith apprentice turned assassin turned bounty hunter wielding dual lightsabers. If there was a trilogy that took place between episodes 2 and 3, she's easily one of the main characters. There's not enough female characters in the Star Wars universe, which means there aren't enough in the Black Series line, which means there aren't enough female villains in the Black Series. Number 8, Wicket W. Warrick. There are plenty of Star Wars fans who still don't like Ewoks, and that's fine. It has nothing to do with whether or not they would make collectible action figures. Time has a way of softening or normalizing the things that may initially seem out of context or, completely repulsive in the world of Star Wars. I myself have looked deep into my own fickle soul and accepted the fact that if a Black Series Jar Jar figure is ever made, I will very likely buy it. Wicket is the poster Ewok. He's the one that was on all the promotional merchandise, but beyond that, as an action figure, he brings a great deal of contrast in terms of size, alien features, and cuddliness that the line is currently lacking. Number 7 is Luke Skywalker Episode 8 Force Projection. The Force is an energy field created by all living things. It's not that it controls your actions per se, rather it obeys your commands. Like, for example, the power to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force. Through the Force, you see things, other places, the future, the past, old friends long gone. You use the Force for knowledge and defense, never for attack, but you can give yourself a pretty decent makeover should you need to make a public appearance on short notice. Surely this was something that Luke discovered in his readings of the ancient Jedi texts during his self-imposed exile. Yeah, hey, I get it. That would have been spoilery if they put this figure out on Force Friday ahead of the movie's release, but several Fridays have come and gone. Let's see a youngerish bearded Luke with green lightsaber ready to kill teenage Darth Vader Jr. while he sleeps before he can become adult Darth Vader Jr. It would have been the right call. You'll see. Bad things ahead in Star Wars Episode 9, A Galaxy Jar Jar Away. Number 6 is Cad Bane. Like Asajj Ventress, Cad Bane made his name during the Clone Wars as a regular antagonist of the Jedi. He's a Clint Eastwood type bounty hunter if Clint Eastwood had a giant blue head and bulging red eyes. Cad Bane has a cool hat, a duster jacket, rocket boots, dual gunslinger pistols. He hangs out with all the other cool-looking bounty hunters. He's got his own ship, he makes his own rules, and he stays up as late as he wants to. No one tells Cad Bane to stop watching old cartoons on the internet and get back to work, because Cad Bane is the boss of Cad Bane, and if Cad Bane don't want to, then Cad Bane don't have to. If there is anything in the galaxy more powerful than the Force, it's the power of Star Wars itself to make bounty hunters the epitome of transcendent coolness, the complete opposite of every real-life example here on our Earth. Number 5 is Bodhi Rook. He was a key plot point of the entire first act of Rogue One. Unfortunately, the film itself and all the characters henceforth have nothing to do with the ongoing machine of Star Wars. If it was going to happen, it would have happened when Rogue One was actually still in the window of the marketing cycle. At this point, everything related to the film, like Bodhi Rook, is dead. He's the only important Rogue One character to not be honored with an articulated plastic statue. Instead, his new forever home will be on most wanted lists like this until he fades into the mists of memory. Number 4 is Princess Leia Hoth gear. If I could speak in bold italic type, I would be saying this in all caps 128-point Helvetica. All characters with human faces that were released up to this point need to be re-released now that face printing technology exists, and yes, unfortunately that includes Princess Leia, who last year had an updated face released immediately after having had a figure released with a bad face. Yes, I'm referring to the Episode 4 version with the white robes and hair buns that I had to buy twice in 6 months. Hoth Leia has to happen because there is no original trilogy-era battlefield-appropriate outfit for her currently. Hoth would be nice, Endor Poncho would be fine too, but the real issue here is that once either of those figures comes out and we see just how beautiful that face can be once printed on, we're going to need redos of everything and everyone who isn't wearing a helmet. Number 3, finish the Rebels crew. Ezra, Zeb, Chopper. 1 3-pack, 3 1-packs, whatever mix of parts and boxes, I don't care. It has to happen now before these 3 characters meet the same fate as Bodhi Rook, and I mean that both in a narrative sense and a marketing sense. The final season of Rebels is coming up. These characters may or may not survive. They very likely will never turn up in any future Star Wars media, given that Episode 8 took place over 30 years after the Battle of Yavin. Everyone from Rebels is definitely dead at that point, except for maybe Chopper. And I don't know how long Lasats live, so maybe Zeb is alive as well. Kain and Hera, Sabine, Ahsoka, if you want to include her, and Thrawn are all great figures who owe their appearance directly to the success of the animated series. Close the circle, deliver the last 3 core characters before this chapter of Star Wars ends. Number 2 is Sidon Ithano. The number 1 thing people were talking about walking out of Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens was, did you hear that guy who wouldn't shut up about the guy with the red Stingray helmet? I wish he would have shut up. And that guy was me. And for the record, I still haven't shut up about it, and I don't plan to. Sidon Ithano is the guy in the red Stingray helmet at Maz Kanata's place who almost recruits Finn to go pirating around the galaxy with him and his space pirate crew. There's a book about him that I haven't read yet, and I don't want to. I have a keen, innate sense of what is cool and what is not. My action figure show on YouTube didn't just invent itself out of nothing. Hey look. He's no Boba Fett. Boba Fett actually had lines in Empire Strikes Back, and according to early production notes, he was almost one of the main villains. But he's on the same level of mystery and totally unearned superficial coolness based purely on his appearance. Star Wars has always been about making figures for obscure characters who got no screen time. Why stop now? Why make Constable Zuvio, who had a scene that got cut, and not Ithano, who interacts with one of the main characters? Take the mold that already exists for the 4-inch figure, enlarge it, add some elbows and knees, and put it in the mail to me, and I'll tell everyone here how cool and smart you are and why they should always buy all your things. And finally, the only figure to have appeared on all 3 of our most wanted Star Wars Black Series lists. He was number 10 on our first list, he moved up to number 4 on our second list, and now, thanks to all of those who weighed in on our Patreon and on the Action Figures subreddit and my personal vote that has a +10 modifier on it, he's number 1. Number 1 is General Grievous. Love him or hate him, that is once again irrelevant. He would make a fine action figure, as we have already seen from Hasbro's previous 25 different action figures and his inclusion in Disney's Die-Cast Elite series and Bandai's model kit line. I'm sure it's a much more expensive and difficult figure to manufacture given all the extra moving parts, but 4-armed characters are hot right now. Mattel's WWE Wrestling Mutants Brock Lesnar, Boss Fight Studios' Deadeye Duck from Bucky O'Hare, Storm Collectibles might actually get their Goro from Mortal Kombat released at some point. The real question you have to ask is whether he's going to have a plastic or cloth cape, and I know we go back and forth on this, you and I, but let's agree that with a figure like this, cloth is the only way to go. But if you're not sure, don't let that hold you up. Put them both in, make it a $25 figure, and we'll all understand that's the price of 2 capes and 4 arms. Bifurcated arms, cloth cape, 4 lightsabers, anything else you want to throw in is gravy, but that's the minimum, and with any luck, we'll be able to retire you from this list before Volume 4. That's the list. If history is any indicator, you can expect 7.5 of these to be out within the next 2 years. If history is any judge, that means General Grievous, Sidon Ithano, and Wicket will be ranked when we do this again a year from now. Thanks for watching. Please hit like, hit subscribe, share this video, head over to our Patreon if you're in the position to help the channel grow, and let us know in the comments if you could choose any single character to be guaranteed to have made, who would it be? Sidon Ithano got like 3 actual votes for this list in the raw data, but I think that's only because a lot of you forgot how much I want him made. I forgive you. The past is the past. Water under the bridge. Just don't be so selfish with your lists next time. Try to think a little bit more about what I want when you're thinking about what you want.
Good.